Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Last time on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure we had Spicy Lady, which just forces me to raise an eyebrow because of how spicy it is. So basically, Trish was dealing with the notorious Chase, and eventually she fully developed her stand Spicy Lady, which could talk to her, but it could... whatever. Let's just not harp on that. Anyway, her power is to make things malleable but durable, which is interesting. And eventually, she was able to save the gang along with Bucciarati and Abbacchio, and the plane crashed, but they got rid of the notorious Chase. And, then they landed in Sardinia. So, yeah. And the boss also has decided that he's going to take them on himself because he has to kill Abbacchio, because Abbacchio will be able to replay where he was in his youth. So, yeah, interesting stuff. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Here we go.
神の定めにさえ反旗を翻す現象
I want to look up who voices Doppio, but I fear there will be spoilers in that. I'll be careful. Don't you worry, folks. I'll be careful. Because I know how to be careful. Because what you don't do is you don't go to the wiki page. What you do, because we have the name right here, is 2 P's, Doppio voice actor. You type that in. Look at that. No spoilers whatsoever. We've got Griffin Burns. Let's see who this guy also voices. Okay, Attack on Titan Season 4 as Colt Grice. Falco's older brother. That was it. The only other thing I have is Yokai Watch as the main kid, Nate. Well, guess that's all I got. Now, should I look up risotto? Nah. Maybe next episode. Alright. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to what is going to be, I think, a short discussion, because what the hell am I supposed to say about this? Hang on, though. My dog got up. 1 second. Darby, why don't you go lay down? That happens. Anyway. I don't get it! I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So in 1965, a child was born to a woman in a woman's prison who was impregnated by a man who had been dead for 2 years. And then the baby was born without it didn't cry. It had pink hair. Eventually it grew up under the care of a priest in Sardinia, who raised him, gave him the name Doppio. Presumably he gave him the name. Maybe it was the mom, I don't know. But Doppio grew up. Everything seemed fine. Doppio seems to be the one who was dating the girl, Trish's mother. And then the old man happen to find that Doppio's mother was alive. Something was keeping her alive and underneath the floor. And I guess that's where the boss comes in, because the boss is another personality on top of Doppio. But it seems like from the way they talk about it that Doppio does not have Emperor Crimson. The boss does. So that opens 12 more questions up in my head. But yeah. So Doppio goes about his life, and I guess that's how he protects that's how the boss protects his identity, is because he technically has another identity that goes around most of the time. But occasionally, he takes over. He took over Doppio's body and fought Bucciarati and went to the house in Sardinia and took all the stuff from it. And now Doppio has a part of King Crimson. A part. Which I guess that was like, because I'm remembering now that King Crimson kind of has two heads, so he has that bit, whatever that bit is. And with that, the boss can use that to kill Risotto. Risotto's power, by the way, is to manifest metal. Just anywhere. And we kind of speculated that too when we saw him, because there was the one guy at the computer and just shit just appeared, you know? So he has the power to manifest metal, I guess. Which, I mean, to his credit, that's definitely one of the better stands. That's definitely one of the better stands in the Hitman team. It's better than Shrinky Dude or a fishing pole, you know? Like, okay, I can get behind that. It's not quite as subtle. Although, I mean, I imagine when Risotto would go out and do a hit, all he needs to do is make a knife manifest in a throat, and that's all he needs, you know? He's doing a bit more to Doppio because I think he knows Doppio is a stand user, you know? Or is he? Can Doppio see, this brings up my questions then. How do stands work with multiple personalities? Like, if this was Mr. Robot, or spoilers, I guess, or if this was like Yu-Gi-Oh or something, it's like, how does that work? Because I would assume that despite which mind is using it, the stand is, I would assume the stand is tethered to the body. Therefore, well, no, I guess it wouldn't be, though. If the stand should be tethered to the soul. You know, I mean, however it works, we can't really go into the science of it, but I guess if it's an extension of the soul, if it's you have multiple personalities, it means you have multiple souls. So the boss has King Crimson. But Doppio may not have anything, you know? He may not have anything, but the boss can grant him a part of King Crimson. Okay, then. Cool. I feel like I can't talk about this until we get more answers next episode. Man, it's interesting that aside from Lil Bomber, we had nobody from our crew, you know? Absolutely nobody from the crew. I love that this episode gives an origin to the boss, but it doesn't make any sense. So I feel like I know less about the boss. He had this weird Anakin Skywalker, miraculous birth. Something kept the mother alive. The boss is split into two people. Man, I appreciate Kira. I appreciate Kira for just being a guy, There was a bit with his dad and Inyaba and the arrow, but even that is pretty simple, What is it with these... It's such a strange thing, though, that the last two villains have weirdly complex stands. And I know Killer Queen is honestly pretty easy to understand, but there's the fact that Kira had two stands. He had Killer Queen, and he had Sheer Heart Attack. Then he got Bites the Dust on top of that. That just happened. This guy, at least his whole backstory is complicated. It's not just, I randomly have, a bunch of powers where most people get, like, a plane, But I guess, if the powers are based on the person, then, yeah, if a person has two... But I mean, the stand and his complex nature stem from his weird, miraculous birth. But how did that happen? Also, they said that she was not pregnant the day before. She was just immediately 9 months pregnant and in labor, And the father, she knew who the father was, and that he had been dead for 2 years. The nice thing, or maybe like slightly nice thing? It can't be Dio. Because in 1965, Dio would have still been in the ocean, so there's at least, we can cross that off the list. Whatever this is some weird new thing that's happening, But it ain't Dio. Because that was honestly my first thought. I was like, oh, Dio's a vampire, they're weird, maybe. And it was like, no, this is 1965. Dio would have still been in the ocean, He's not freed until 1983, I don't know. So yeah, I'm confused, and there's nothing more to say other than I'll see you guys next week when we figure out, hopefully, what on earth is happening. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reactions, as well as another video that you can go click on if you want. Oh god, there's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those.